Do 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 do. Hey. Um. Yeah. There we go. It's my birthday. Where's like the cake and the cupcake set? Actually, tomorrow's my birthday. Not today. Tomorrow. September the 5th. Is there going to be a party here? Actually, never had a birthday party. I don't know what I'll do. I think I'm going to write and translate tomorrow. Fujifilm X-T3 leaked specifications. You know, eventually it's going to get cold again, and this fireplace is going to become relevant. Let's talk about a few things about leaked. Thanks to Nokishita for the leaked specification. Now, a lot of people have said some extremely unintelligent and ignorant statements saying that the X-T3 is really like the X-T2S, kind of like Nikon D3, D3S, D4, D4S. Well, it's not only hyperbole, that's total BS. It's bull cookies. Because between the X-T3 and the Nikon D3, D3S, Nikon D4, D4S, there were extremely minor upgrades. There are huge upgrades between the X-T2 and the X-T3. Let's go over the only really important things that actually count. It's a 26.1 megapixel BSI sensor, backside illuminated, which means it has better dynamic range and better native gain on the sensor. You know, part of exposure in digital photography, ISO, has nothing to do with exposure. ISO is applied gain. You want to talk about real gain? Yeah, that's a BSI sensor. That means a significant improvement over a conventional. Typically a stop and 3/4 to 2 stops, depending on who's designing it and how well the gain is over a conventional sensor. I don't know who's making this sensor. It could be Samsung. Don't know yet. A full sensor phase detect. The entire sensor phase detect. That's significant. EVF is -3 on the X-T3. Now it's only -1 on the X-T2, so you have 2 stops better on the X-T3. Very, very important and absolutely fantastic. 425 autofocus points, which is not only a lot, but we have that not only in AFS, but in AF continuous, AFC. Like on XH1 and XT2, if you were using single point for point selection and you went into continuous mode, the box would shrink down to a much smaller section of the sensor. That's not the case for the X-T3, so that's really important. 30 frames per second in electronic shutter, or 20 frames per second in full electronic shutter, full sensor coverage. So, in other words, if you're using a full DX sensor on the X-T3, it's 20 frames per second. 11 frames per second mechanical shutter. It's only 8 frames per second on the X-T2 without the grip. 0 EVF blackout. Zebra stripe 4K 60p with 10-bit internal. People are saying Nikon has 10-bit. It doesn't. It has 10-bit external, not internal. So the X-T3 has 10-bit internal. Touch LCD, same thing we have on the Fujifilm XH1. How much more or better it's improved from firmware and software, I don't know that. That information is not out yet. Greatly improved autofocus and eye autofocus. Much cheaper than in price than the X-T2 was when it came out. Greatly improved high ISO performance and low light performance for output. It's 32 grams heavier. Basically, it's in the X-T2 body. By the way, they actually have shortened the dials and made the dials slightly tapered. The dials are exactly like those found on the XH1. 3.7 million dot EVF, same as on the XH1, which is an improvement over the 2.6 or 2.6, I believe, million on the X-T2. It has USB-C on the side instead of USB. It actually has USB-C. So congratulations. Really important too. I bitched in a couple of videos the Fujifilm. The only thing I actually had to complain about on the X-T2 was it's the same as I found on the XH1. Right here is it's easy to accidentally change your adapter adjustment control. Fujifilm, as I see from the leaked images from Nokishita, you have to pop it out and adjust it and then pop it back in, so you can't accidentally brush it with your fingers or inside your camera bag. So that was my complaint, and on the XH1 Fujifilm found it to be logical and very, very sensible, and so they changed that. So Fujifilm listened to me on adapter adjustments. So thanks to, there's a company that actually listens. A lot of people are complaining that it doesn't have IBIS, but what they fail to realize is that the X-T3 is in basically the X-T2 body with all those improvements, and the only way you're able to fit IBIS in is if you necessarily need to make the camera significantly thicker. They fail to realize that. I mean, IBIS is 90% for videographers. You don't need IBIS. Nobody as a photographer needs IBIS. That's still my position because it's factual. Countless, endless millions of photographers got by without IBIS for ages. If you want IBIS, they have the X-H1 as the option for video use. There is not IBIS. The X-T2 is extremely, everybody knows this, even people who don't like Fuji will admit it. The X-T2 is a legendary, super famous camera. I called it legendary, especially after all the firmware updates. For very good reason. Everybody loves the form factor of the X-T2, so they're continuing that in the X-T3. All indications are that the grip is slightly deeper, however, on the X-T3. I believe it's the exact same battery, however, they're able to pull out CEPA rated 50 more shots per battery on the new X-T3 than they were on the X-T2 or on the X-H1. It is going to be made in China, but what you fail to realize is that, at least a lot of you do, is that that will make for a cheaper price point, which has already been announced. What the exact price is, we don't know. We'll know here in about 24 hours, actually. So they're able to make more of them faster. Fuji themselves, as their own admission, have only so much Japan factory space, and I'm assuming, probably accurately, that they're dedicating a lot to that, to their new medium format rangefinder, the GFXR, which they're going to sell the hell out of. I've had thousands and thousands of people tell me that they're going to buy that damn camera, sub 4,000 roughly, medium format Fujifilm camera. Wise move there. And they're using that to make the GFXR now. I have the new Fujifilm X-T100, which is made in the same factory in China as the X-T3 is. And I'm dead serious honest, the actual fit and finish on the new X-T100, where the X-T3 is being made, is actually slightly better than even that as found on the X-T2. I don't care if you believe me or not, it's a hardcore fact. If I'm lying, I'm dying. So they're able to make them faster, able to make them cheaper, and still at extremely high quality. Everybody knows that Fujifilm is going to sell the hell and gone out of the X-T3 to meet demand and to destroy everybody else by coming out with a camera that has all these wonderful features way and above that of over the X-T2 and a low price point that they need to make them in China rather than Japan. So Fujifilm's going to sell the hell out of these. People fail to realize, well, you know, this is a new camera from Fujifilm, doesn't have IBIS in it. The X-T3 is a photography-centric camera. Okay? It is. It's not my opinion, that's a fact. It is. Even a representative at Fujifilm told me that. If you want IBIS, here's the camera right here. It's the X-H1. Has IBIS. Photographers don't need IBIS. You don't. And here's an additional fact. We'll say, well, you know, I sometimes shoot in low light and I have issues because my shutter speed's too slow. Well, a BSI sensor on the X-T3 is, according to Fujifilm, we got -3 EV as opposed to -1 on the X-T2, so that means you got 2 stops better, able to increase your shutter speed by 2 stops, so you don't need it. This is a photographic-centric camera. Even with its professional video features in 10-bit internal and 4K 60p and zebra striping, that's wonderful. Everybody's asking Fujifilm for that for a long time, but yeah, they'd have to radically change the form factor of the camera. Not only would they have to make the camera much thicker to stick in an IBIS mech, it would make it also a good bit more expensive by a factor of at least $250, $300. Yeah. So if Fujifilm, you can't play, you know, people just don't realize. Well, just where are they going to stick the IBIS mech? Since the X-T3 is basically an X-T2 body, where are they going to stick it at? You know, the IBIS mech adds this much to the thickness of the camera. So if they did do that, they'd have to increase the price And then everybody say, gee, this camera's a lot thicker than the X-T2 was. This sucks. That's exactly what would happen. Fujifilm actually knows what it is they're doing. So all of those complaining about IBIS, I think you need to realize that IBIS is like not like paper thin. It actually adds a significant amount of thickness to the camera and cost. And the X-T3 is not a video-centric camera. The video-centric camera is right here. On the expensive side. On the inexpensive side, of course, it's the X-T100. So, thank you so much for watching. Where's my birthday present? My birthday's here in a few hours. Where's my birthday present? What? I'm not going to get one? It sucks. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you like this video. If you do, click the link below. Tell me to jump off a cliff, whatever makes you happy. God, I cannot wait for the X-T3 to come out. People keep calling me, oh, you're just a Fuji fanboy. Really? I'm a fanboy of quality. And who's making the best quality today? That is Fujifilm. I don't care whether you agree with me or not. I've been taking cameras apart for 20 years. Got piles of cameras. I don't care whether you think I'm just oh, you just hoard cameras. Is that why my face is sunburned? Like for the past 3 weeks, I've been outside way more than I've been inside. I have to be inside to answer all the emails and comments and phone calls and do all this stuff that I do. Yeah. I'm a fanboy of quality. Always have been, always will be. So, you want to call me a Fuji fanboy? I don't care. I know who's making the best cameras. Okay? And it's Fuji. Fuji doesn't like it when you say Fuji, however, because that doesn't mean anything. You have to say Fujifilm. Because there's a lot of stuff called Fuji. There's Fuji the Mountain. There's like Fuji Underwear. There's Fuji Soda Pop. You got to say Fujifilm. There's a Fujifilm representative that says, Fuji doesn't like it when you say Fuji. Fuji wants you to say Fujifilm. Okay. Duly noted, girlfriend. Peace out, Girl Scout, and Fujifilm.